price reductions continue to sweep America as a foreclosure crisis quite possibly is brewing. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It is very important to stay close to the channel in these very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. Always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up, strap in. I got another hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it. No rainbows and sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And friends, price reductions are sweeping America at an alarming rate. We really need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Now, today I've got a good friend of mine, Orlando Miner, another YouTuber from the Midwest, a real estate investor, a great guy that's going to help me with this one. Orlando, welcome to the show.
Hey, Scott, thanks for bringing me on your platform. I really appreciate it.
Well, we really appreciate you coming. It's always nice to add a little bit of variety to the channel. Keep our audience guessing. Absolutely have a great audience. I always say iron sharpens iron. And friends, I met Orlando with Travis at the Real Estate Mindset, Mania Canada, Saks Realty. Who else do we got? Orlando that I'm forgetting.
Steve. Group. We got Steve.
Yeah, and I know that. Yeah. I think there's somebody else, but we got a great group of guys. Orlando and I are yet to have done a video together, so it's a really good pleasure. Now, Orlando, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to have you weigh in. Yeah. Like I said, Orlando is all things real estate. His channel is great. Search up Orlando Miner. There will be a link in the description below to his channel. But Orlando, what we're currently seeing is price reductions are actually sweeping America. Are you seeing that, my friends?
Yeah, I'm seeing it hugely, and I've been saying this for months that it's not a big surprise when you hear the Fed continuing to say to everybody, I'm going to continue to hammer inflation. He will do anything to get rid of inflation and to bring it back down to a 2% level. Remember, we're at 8.3%, and it even increased from the last data that we have, and we're seeing it double month by month. If they're going to continue to hammer inflation, what do you think? Do you think they really care about house prices? No, and that's what we're seeing in the housing market, the fallout from that, and we're just starting.
Oh man, you hit the nail on the head. Couldn't have said it better myself. The reality's, Orlando, in order to battle an 8% inflation rate, what do they have to do with the federal funds rate historically? Match it. And we're just getting started, and look what it's doing to our housing market. And I've always talked about this, Orlando, on the channel. And thank you to everybody who continues to stay centered and surrounded with like-minded people. Congratulations. Yes. But the realities are, friends, we're at the front end of this thing, just getting started. So, Orlando, that kind of segues us into our second really big question. Mm-hmm. Like I almost don't want to ask it. It is that big.
Okay.
So we're just getting started fighting inflation, and it's absolutely hammering the biggest asset class in the world, the U.S. housing market. If we lose the U.S. housing market, guess what happens? We lose everything, and guess what comes along with that? Foreclosures. I've been warning about this. You know, anytime you see the housing market exhibit bubble behavior, they've in fact crashed. Anytime there's been a housing crash, it's produced foreclosures. The size of this bubble was so massive, nothing like we've seen before in history, where it was born overnight artificially due to government market manipulation, stimulating our economy through the crisis. So there's a really, now it comes down to the percentage of likelihood of a foreclosure crisis being produced from the biggest bubble. What's your thoughts around that, my friend?
Yeah, my thoughts around that are this, is that when it comes to foreclosures, there's a lot of things that I'm seeing in different avenues. We have the avenue of individuals just seeing that their houses are losing value. I just spoke to one of my audience members, and he wants to get rid of his house because He cannot stand seeing a house that he just bought lose 30, 40, 50. He's at $60,000 in loss. And it's only been 5 months. And he bought in Austin, guys. He bought in Austin, and he is seeing his value depreciate. And so he's looking to himself and thinking to him, like, I need to sell my house now. So you have individuals in that arena. But here's the problem. Some people may want to keep that house, but they can't refinance, so they're forced to sell. And then we have individuals who cannot pay their taxes. We know that taxes are going up higher and higher, along with home insurance. So when you add in all those type of things, then the foreclosure rate goes up. Then I'm going to add in another avenue, and that's the individuals that overpaid, now are paying higher price in taxes and insurance, and now they're paying triple or double to furnish the home, to fix things in the home. And when all of those savings get depleted, what's going to happen when all of this stuff comes around at the beginning of next year? It's going to be a high probability that a lot of, craziness is going to happen, and there will be a lot of opportunities and a lot of situations where people have to let their homes go.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think that's the thing. I think with today, Orlando, and I talk about this a little bit. Here's an example. What are we all doing today? We're like this. We're all like this. We expect the housing market to crash in real time. It has to play. Yeah, it has to play out. Now, this was the fastest real estate bubble ever produced in history, to all-time never seen before highs, never seen before in history. It's in fact reverse course faster than any other bubble in history, but it's going to have to play out. So like sometimes I've talked about with my audience, is a lot of people that bought during the bubble, they put so much pressure on themselves to buy this house. So you're competing, overpaying. The FOMO was like nothing I'd ever seen before, to the point where I had to turn on my camera, even as an active realtor, and say, this is a bubble. This won't sustain itself. It just can't. What goes up must come down. And this has happened before. Yeah. I bought in the last bubble. And I bought when prices were trending the other direction, probably about where we're at right now. And I didn't know I was catching a falling knife. Wow. I had to dig my way out of that one. So today, I'm ringing the bell. I'm sounding the alarm. I'm reading between the lines. I'm looking between the cracks. I'm warning people to be careful in these times, to save your cash for the crash. Save it for a rainy day. Save it for whatever you need to save it for. But you might want to play it safe in this one. We've seen some huge heavy hitters get on the sidelines. Big time heavy hitters. Be greedy when others are fearful. Fearful when others are greedy. We saw a lot of greed, right? The heavy hitters got on the sideline. So, I think, like you said, Orlando, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show. Please, friends, go jump over. You're doing a great job with your channel. Great job with your channel. You sprinkle in a lot of, just kind of, you try to keep it lighthearted, right? Because I think that's, it's so important, because anybody can be an alarmist.
Right.
And so it's so nice, like, we got to be ourselves. And that's always, if you're halfway expect what's coming, it'll be less blindsiding, right? When it hits, you'll have halfway expected and be able to operate within it more efficiently, because it's going to blindside a lot of people. So like you said, Orlando, what we're seeing now is a lot of people, the last thing to go is the house. And by this time next year, we're probably going to see the dominoes fall. And like you said, with property taxes, homeowners insurance, all those things spiking and inflation crushing people, called back to the office, the gas that people are spending, Orlando.
Right. It's going up.
It is. So Orlando, would you like to wrap it up with any words of advice to the audience before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, I would say, please be patient, guys. You have to be patient. I know everyone is especially your audience, my audience, they're looking at their phone and they're like, I want to pull the trigger now. Guys, you have to be patient. You have to sit on the sideline with a purpose. Make sure that you're looking at your local housing market and not focus on what's happening in Miami and you live in Austin. Those are two different markets. So my last words is just be patient and make sure that you focus on your local housing market.